your insurance claim too. Certified technicians, award-winning service, and clearly your best choice in collision repairs. ChooseGyms.com. That's ChooseGyms.com.
Hi, this is Matt LaFontaine from the newly expanded Matt LaFontaine Collision Center in Grayling. We are here to help with all of your collision center needs, whether an accident, encounter with wildlife, or just some cosmetic repairs. We work on all makes and models and all insurance companies. We will restore your vehicle back to pre-accident condition and give you a full detail when done. Ask about our free loaner program, call 348-5451, or visit us 24 hours a day at mattlafontaine.com to schedule an appointment.
The threat of cyber attacks is on the rise. It's never been more important to have an IT expert to secure your company's data. Dunn's Business Solutions is part of a large IT security company, Visual Edge IT. Call Dunn's today and gain peace of mind. Dunn's is also your expert for office furniture, copiers, technology products, and phone systems. Head down the road to data security when you call Dunn's Business Solutions in Gaylord or visit michigan.visualedgeit.com.
Check into winning at Saguenay Eagles Landing for the We Rest Our Suitcase giveaway. Saturdays in January, you could unlock your share of over $52,000 in cash, premium play, and more hourly from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Then at 10 p.m., one grand prize winner will soar away with a $5,000 travel voucher and $500 cash. Saguenay Eagles Landing Casino and Resort. Real fun, real friendly. Visit SaguenayEaglesLanding.com for complete rules and details.
Good morning, Northern Michigan. Welcome to Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio. Brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City. Jerry Coyne live in studio with Rich Calkins and Chad Patterson. And guys, with all the tumultuous news in the sporting world, we thought we'd bring in an actual expert.
Yes.
Somebody credentialed to talk about this as opposed to babbling idiots like Chad and myself who just have an opinion. Well, check your CBS Sports.
My
Let's
CBS
go like
Sports,
that.
yeah.
So, Keith Gave.
Woo! Good to see you guys.
It's good to see you.
How's the knee?
5 months.
How's the knee?
The knee is new and doing pretty well.
Good.
Actually. But it was. I'll tell you what, it was tough sledding the first 3 months or so. Yeah, it was ugly, and I wanted to kill my surgeon. But right about the 3-month mark, I turned the corner, and I got to tell you, I'm pretty optimistic now, because I was getting pushed around a lot when J-Bo and I did a fair amount of fishing last summer, and I was getting knocked around in the slightest bit of current. I wasn't very stable.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel confident that I can get out there in the streams now and hold my own again.
Nice.
But the knee's doing well, thank you.
Well, awesome. You and your wife doing the same surgery.
She's had 2 knee surgeries, not replacements. Like I had the total knee replacement.
Right.
She's had the meniscus cleanup and tear.
Okay.
But she's looking at knee replacement somewhere down the line.
I got the hip. Replacement.
Yeah. Have you done it yet?
You've
done it.
Oh, yeah. When I was 48.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
I've been contemplating a personality replacement, but it's just...
We've all been contemplating that for you as well, so...
It's been 5 months.
It wasn't an opportunity for you to step in, but thank you. So, Keith, given the landscape of what's happened in the past week, with Michigan winning, Saban retiring, Belichick moving on, and we already heard that they decided they're going to hire Gerard Mayo, eliminating all that speculation about Vrabel.
Yeah, wow.
And Pete Carroll gets lost in the whole
Pete Carroll's,
conversation.
Only one of 3 guys that have won an NCAA championship and a Super Bowl. Yeah, but that's...
they just sweep him to the side.
That's okay.
Were you surprised as I was about that? About him losing that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
My God.
That is a manager, I guess we'll start the program here then. What are football owners thinking, okay? Every year, 7 to 10 of these jobs open up. And it's this over and over. They get less and less time to be successful. Thank God Sheila Hemp has seen all of this. They could have run Campbell out of town in the middle of his second year. And if it was the owner from Carolina, they would have. So, you need a football coach, somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. Well, there's not 8 great ones out there. So what are these teams going to do? We ask you, Mr. Gay. We're on radio, so please do not nod your head.
I don't know. I mean, with the, I want to say the NFL's kind of musical chairs, but it really isn't.
No.
There's a lot of coordinators coming. The NHL is musical chairs.
Or NBA. You see the same coaches being recycled all over.
Only at bigger paychecks now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But I don't know where they're going to find 8 coaches. Probably most of them will come from the coordinator ranks, but it's going to make things interesting down the stretch as we try and watch some playoff football in Detroit. We're going to watch the coaching carousel go round and round too, right?
Yeah, how much does this make Harbaugh? I mean, like,
marketable.
I mean, what was it? They mentioned the Belichick was under contract, right, for $26 million. That's what they were paying him, which is by far and away the biggest salary that any coach. But what does that make? Harbaugh is a lock cinch to turn your program around, right? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the circumstances are and where, except for Carolina, which he's not going there. All right. So, what does this make him worth? I mean, Michigan is ready to sign him to an $11 million contract, which is what he made this year with his incentives. So, $11 million with more incentives, so probably an opportunity to make $15 million. So, if you want Harbaugh, you're looking at close to $20 million a year, right?
Right. Yeah, remember Belichick had GM duties as well.
I understand that.
So all of that, but again, do you want to have? And I'm sure Harbaugh's going to want something in the
wants to shop for the groceries.
That says,
I don't know if they want to be complete GM.
Right,
not complete.
GM,
I get it.
But we got to have. He's got to have input on who's drafted because he's again wants to buy the groceries if he's going to.
Well, Vrabel's going to want that because Vrabel got his knees cut out from underneath him.
Did.
I mean, 4 years in a row in the playoffs. Let's trade A.J. Brown for no one. Let's sign Ryan Tannehill to a $125 million contract. And then, okay, go ahead and coach these guys.
Yeah. We'll give you one.
Good thing we have Derrick Henry.
One running back. And
they don't have him anymore. I mean, he's basically said goodbye as well. I was going to ask Keith real quick about how much. I mean, I know the media doesn't really push the narrative in the NFL or anything like that, but what we have though is like very cyclical, right? Like I heard Adam Schefter talking the other day. If you lose 5 to 6 like coaches one year, the next year you're going to lose 7 to 13. You know, like it goes like that. And I think the media is pushing this kind of youth movement. You talked about coordinators. It seems like, okay, Belichick needs to be pushed out. Carroll needs to be pushed out. They're in their 70s. And that's a media narrative that's going on. We need these young coordinators. Do you think the media pushes that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's fair to say. I mean, the media they pick up on trends. They talk about trends, and they magnify them. And you're right. So a lot of these great coaches are getting older now, and we're looking at a younger generation. And of course, everybody wants to find that young
Belichick.
A young Belichick.
Yeah.
And those guys they come along once every 20, 25 years, a guy like that.
Look at Kraft turned him down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, when Belichick first left Cleveland, interviewed for the job, and Kraft didn't hire him. He said it in the press conference.
Right.
And then realized after Pete Carroll had a year there, I made a big mistake. And, and obviously Carroll was able to resurrect everything that he did. So it's not necessarily you don't want the young buck. What's the old joke, with the old bull and the young Bill joke, Keith?
One of the great jokes.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't want to get too into politics either, but there's a lot of talk about age limits on presidents, right? Like, and they talk a lot about that.
What,
and
under 100 and you're good?
Well, in the Senate too, but I think that's a narrative that's been going around, so I think you're going to see younger and younger guys. Guys like Ben Johnson are going to get these opportunities, Gerard Mayo. And I was just
I don't think it has as much to do with age. I don't think it has to do with age.
Okay.
If Belichick went 9-7 this year, he'd still be coaching. And the same thing with Pete Carroll. You're talking about guys that didn't make the playoffs two years in a row or 2 out of the last 3 years, and that is unacceptable. It's not. Oh, how many teams make the playoffs? 12. Okay, so Good luck with that.
And I think there's a guy that's going to be coaching this weekend for his job, and that's Mike McCarthy. I don't think
no question.
if Green Bay surprises them and beats them, forget it. I mean, especially when Jerry Jones has all these choices now.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt.
And he's got all the money.
There's a couple of guys
in the playoffs.
In the play, I mean,
Yeah,
Campbell is safe. Stefanski is safe.
Oh, absolutely. I want Stefanski.
What's his name from Philadelphia? Sirianni. If they lose,
You're right.
he's out.
McDaniel's safe.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Eagles don't care.
No,
I mean, it's like Doug Peterson 1 year after winning the Super Bowl. They put a statue outside of the stadium and fired him in the same week. Hey, way to go.
That's Philly. And then threw batteries at the statue.
And getting back to your story, JC, about owners now are willing to eat old contracts and move on quickly, where before 20 years, they'd never do that. You make sure you got your money's worth. Now they'll play those people off, move on to the next one.
What do you mean? The Raiders are paying, what is it, like $300 million in contracts to coaches right now.
Gruden and yeah.
Well, Gruden, the NFL should be
Gruden's
paying that.
$275 million
I mean,
of
look
it.
and there's another guy. That guy should be coaching in this league. I mean, he is. I mean, the Raiders got screwed by the NFL. The Raiders should have sued the NFL about running their head coach out of the league.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we talked about this when it first happened. How does this? We are investigating the Washington Redskins, and the only thing that we get on Dan Snyder is the fact that John Gruden's a racist. Can you be a racist and be a head football coach? I don't think so. I mean, you could use the N-bomb in casual conversation. You can't even do it anymore. You know, I was the only white guy on a couple of black basketball teams in a whole golf league. I've been called the N-word more times than any white man alive. But I digress. Is there yes, dear? Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay. So, this is. I understand that these are hyper-competitive guys. You talk about the ultimate competition might not be on the field, right? It's about the owners and wanting to have all the power and be a winner. You know, they all were successful in some entity to get all the money. I mean, Tepper's the second wealthiest guy in the league, right? From investing. Mm-hmm. He's an investment banker, arbitrage and all this stuff. So he's used to pulling the ripcord. Right. This doesn't work, you're out. This doesn't work, you're out. But running a business is not running 53 guys all on the same page. Right. And, so I don't know where this league is headed, but it makes our job easier.
It's fun to watch, man. I'll tell you
I mean,
what.
because it makes that national championship of Michigan seem like it took place a month ago now, because there's been so much sports
news. That was just Monday.
Yeah, it was just Monday night, and it's crazy.
Well, they're having a huge parade tomorrow.
That's awesome. Are they getting hit with this blizzard?
Yeah. I still guarantee you there'll be 100,000 people in the streets, and some people are not going to be able to get into Chrysler Arena. So and then does Harbaugh made right at the very end? I'm
going to the LA Chargers.
It's been fun, folks.
Yeah.
Out.
Sayonara.
Hey, look it. He stated this purpose when he got hired. The first thing he said at that press conference is, "I'm here to restore my university to the heights that it is accustomed to being." So he can do whatever the hell he wants as far as
when he said it. I was at that press conference. Frankly, the biggest press conference I've ever been around, and I've covered some presidential debates, and this was bigger. And you're right. That's what he said. And I remember talking to Lloyd Carr afterward and said, we got our guy. We got the right guy to bring us back. And look what's happened. Took a little longer than maybe people thought, but here they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a great game. And you guys called it. Donovan Edwards stepped up in a huge way. 87 yards on the first 2 carries for touchdowns. Great call by you guys. But I believe if we go back and listen to the tape, I was the one who actually had more belief in the team than you guys were like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so close. It's going to be nip and tuck. I'm like, they'll win by a touchdown or more. I just want that on the record. Okay.
How much money did you win on it?
I did not bet.
Okay, then there
I
you
did
go.
not bet.
Moving along, the the one thing that occurred to me when Saban retired, we haven't even talked about that yet.
Yeah.
The greatest college. I mean, you go to Alabama in the shadow of Bear Bryant. The shadow of Bear Bryant is still there 40 years later, just like the shadow of Bo still kind of hangs over this, even though Bo never won anything. And you go ahead and eclipse Bear Bryant. You retire. Now, does this give Jim Harbaugh like a little thing in the back of his mind? Well, I could be now really the entire king of college football. And, that's a little different than going and winning a Super Bowl. To being the absolute face of college football like Saban has been, because the guy that's coming into Alabama is not going to be that.
Good luck with that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's, if you're looking at it from Harbaugh's perspective, it's me and Kirby Smart. And, so game on. And my conference is now bigger than the SEC. I don't know if this gives him a little bit more pause, because I don't think Harbaugh, knowing what I know about him, because I don't know him, I don't think he's worried about the NCAA. People bring this up all the time. Oh, the NCAA, Jimmy's got to run while it's. This is not Pete Carroll, okay? Pete Carroll had to run.
Yeah.
Jimmy does not have to run. He's got a really good class coming in, and so, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he goes to the NFL. I mean, they're going to throw it. It's going to be up to somebody that owns an NFL team to convince Harbaugh that this is the right place for him. Hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Minnesota, Denver, they didn't make enough of a case for Harbaugh. People say, well, Harbaugh wanted the Minnesota job, they didn't offer it. Nobody knows that for sure. So if they didn't give I'm just saying.
No, it's speculation. I mean, I think,
considering, especially since Harbaugh doesn't have an agent. He does now, but he didn't have an agent when he signed with U of M, and when he went to these other positions. It was him in the room by himself. So if somebody says, well, I know exactly what happened there. Oh, sure you do. I'm glad.
Don Yee on line one.
when you're talking those kind of numbers, you're going to need an agent, right? Because it is going to be through the roof, and it's going to be the highest bidder kind of thing.
Some of the frustrations I hear about coaching college football nowadays with the NIL and the transfer portal. You not only do you go and recruit new players, you have to re-recruit your existing team. So the energy and effort needed to make sure everybody's happy. It's tough.
Yep.
Go.
Did you see the story today about Florida State getting sanctioned by the NCAA for violating NIL rules? And I'm like, what rules are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay,
There are rules?
you got to read the article, because there are rules. There are rules in the NFL. You're telling me there's rules?
I had no idea.
I thought it was a guideline.
Yeah.
So, way to step up for the. There's some thought that this is what Saban is going to do. In the exit interview that he had yesterday, he said, I'm still going to work. I'm going to still try to make this sport the best it can be. If the NCAA or the powers that be, because what is the NCAA anymore, they should hire Saban and make him commissioner of football, and then dial up this NILs and the transfer portals and make it run as an operation. Because, you can say whatever you want about Roger Goodell, but the league runs the way it's supposed to run. Same thing with Adam Silver.
That's right.
And you cannot have this wild, wild west crap much longer, Keith.
No, you need to. That's a really good point, and worth considering. If I were the NCAA, not only hire him, but give him the power.
Yes.
Give him the power to get the sport in line.
Like Judge Kennesaw Landis, right?
Like that.
Yeah.
That's very much like that. That's a pretty good idea. And if because he's the one guy that could possibly do it.
Yeah.
The one guy.
Demands respect.
Demands respect. I mean, the one thing, I didn't know that much about Saban, and, obviously his record speaks for itself. But when I started watching him every week on the Pat McAfee show, That guy is so serious and so logical, and just and he's talking about life, not football. Everything that every time he ever talks is like, I want to build up. It's my responsibility to make the player better by making the team better, because when the team is the best it is, then these players have the best opportunity to have a great life. Not to go to the NFL, to have a great life. And Lloyd Carr was like that.
Lloyd Carr was the one guy I can think of who was really like that. Lloyd Carr was, absolutely, no question. But Mike Krzyzewski was like that,
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
Very, very much the same with his players and his team.
My coach, my high school coach, and Larry Brown. Larry Brown got the worst reputation because he always stood up for his players as opposed to owners. Owners wanted to screw with his basketball operation. He goes, you don't know anything about this team. You don't know anything about my players. So if you don't like what I'm doing, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Okay? Because, and you talk to any guy that ever played for Larry Brown, you'll never hear one bad thing ever said about him. So.
No, that's what Saban wasn't the first, but he's one of the more popular ones to give kids a second chance. If they made a big mistake in their youth, he's willing to stand behind them and give them another chance.
Yeah. So, just Keith, we're so glad that you came in, because I can't remember a week like this.
It's a great
football.
Crazy week.
This has been pretty fun, actually. In our part of the world now, it's pretty exciting.
No, like you said, I mean, the whole Michigan wins the title, and where's Harbaugh going? That is buried on page 6.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So
Find it.
And we're going to talk some Red Wings, and we didn't even talk about the NFL playoffs this week. So we will be back after these words from our fine partners on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Face-Off, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport. But first, it's Destination NFL. It's time for Destination NFL. Kevin Klein from Cherry Capital Airport, grinding down to the end of the season. The biggest game of the year, Buffalo heading down to Miami.
They're going head-to-head, and it's going to be dramatic. But TVC gets you down there through Punta Gorda. It's a couple hours away,
right?
But you can get down there for less than $300. It's around $274.
And you get into Hard Rock Stadium, which is maybe the coolest football stadium, at least on the East Coast.
Very true.
And you can get in for $250. So trip down to Miami, see a great football game, maybe spend a day on South Beach.
Flying Allegiant gets you down there nonstop, and then our D.C. connection with the big game that's out there.
The Cowboys playing in Washington. I've got a funny feeling about this game. I don't know if the Cowboys are going to lose or not, but this is going to be a football game.
Well, that's $336, round trip flying.
And you can get into the stadium for less than $100.
So why not?
Spend a little time in the nation's capital. There's a lot to be said about how cool Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And we just want to announce that, the NFL season is coming to an end, but we've had so much fun doing this that we're going to morph it into Destination NHL. We're going to have some wings trips to put together, and we've got one big trip that we're going to roll out today. TVC getaway to LCA.
We're going to go in, and the first part of the day is with the Red Wings, and then the last part of the day is with the Pistons.
Right,
so it's a doubleheader.
Yeah, the doubleheader at Little Caesars Arena. So you see the Wings play at noon, the Pistons play at 7. Going to fly out of Traverse City. Kevin's going with you. So you're going to get the first-class treatment at the airport. Flying down to DTW, we got a 2 nights hotel stay right downtown, and then you're going to fly out on Sunday.
And head on back.
One lucky winner. We're going to be able to register you through your website or Q100 Michigan's website. Somebody's going to have a blast.
They're going to have a great time. And it'll be a blast for all of our opportunity for all the listeners to be able to, 1, partake in flying down, 2, get some great professional sports.
Yeah.
It's to be part of an amazing season.
Little Caesars Arena, if you haven't been.
Absolutely.
So you're going to get to see it in both of its setups, both professional hockey and professional basketball. If you haven't been there in a little bit, downtown Detroit has really changed.
Downtown Detroit is reviving. It's fun to be down there. The food in Detroit has changed significantly.
Fantastic.
It's awesome. Everything around the arena is just amazing.
Yep.
And the investments, the cleanliness, the ballparks that are there. I think Detroit, when you start to say, how is it rebuilding? Sports is one of the best anchors to be able to do it. So very exciting to see that, and looking forward to this opportunity to spend a day at LCA. tvcairport.com.
There you go. Kevin Klein with Destination NFL, soon to be Destination NHL.
The Traverse City Record Eagle supports WCMU Public Radio in Traverse City with Total Access Record Eagle subscriptions. Total Access means home delivery of the printed paper, plus on-demand access to local and breaking news and other community publications online or on the app. Find out more at record-eagle.com/subscriptions or call 231-946-2187. That's 231-946-2187. The Traverse City Record Eagle proudly serves 13 counties in northwestern Lower Michigan.
Listen, do you hear that? That's the sound of wide open spaces at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air. The sound of laughter coming from the Alpine Tubing Park. The sound of splashing in the pool. The sound of shushing down Shush Mountain. Here we go outside to play. When it's time for you to enjoy the wide open spaces of northern Michigan, Shanty Creek will be there to welcome you with over 275 lodging options, 42 downhill ski and snowboard runs, and plenty of outdoor fun in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
It's time to get away to your dream destination. Beat the winter and fly TVC to Sun and Sand. Looking for your spring break getaway? Book today. Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United are getting you where you want to go. Visit tvcairport.com for up-to-the-minute flight schedules.
Welcome back to Friday Face-Off on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport. Jerry Coyne live in studio with Chad Patterson, Rich Calkins, and our old friend Keith Gave. We will talk Red Wings hockey as they have heated up again, Keith. But, I mean, obviously, the first playoff game that didn't involve a high school team being played at Ford Field. And you can't write this crap. So Matt Stafford returning to to mesmerize our fans.
Right.
I mean, there's all this crap about don't wear a Stafford jersey.
Oh, come on! I know.
I read this on M Live. So this real estate guy in Detroit had bought 1,000 Jared Goff jerseys. And he was having an event, not even at Ford Field, at a movie theater in Livonia, where you were going to trade out your Stafford jersey for Jared Goff, and the NFL nixed it. How could they possibly even do that?
Wow.
Why did they nix
The
it?
NFL itself nixed. They said he couldn't do it. I have no idea, because that's licensed gear, and they can restrict the movement of licensed gear. Again, who knew?
Yeah.
The NIL and the
NFL had those what?
And the NFL also nixed the Imagine Theaters allowing to broadcast a game, and people could come into the theater for free. I don't understand.
I don't get this at all.
Anyways, I digress. It was just this whole thing about Stafford jerseys.
And part of the ESPN thing, they're talking about Matt Stafford's revenge tour back in. What does he have to revenge tour? They gave him what he wanted. It's Jared Goff is the one that should be.
Goff was the one left
feeling
for
slighted.
dead.
Yeah.
I saw Stafford's press conference, and he gets it.
Oh,
he totally
handled it
gets
perfect.
it.
Classy.
Exactly. I mean, look at. He got nothing to bitch about with the Lions. They paid him $180 million.
Right. And this isn't coming from him. It's just.
I know.
It's the narrative.
Yeah, it is the narrative. Yes.
And he's got the ring, so he's nothing to be upset about. But Jared Goff was left for. He was the throwaway.
The Lions better run the football.
Yep.
Okay. If they can't control the line of scrimmage and run the football and eat clock, they're going to get blown out of their own stadium.
Oh yeah. Because those receivers
gonna have some
blown
trouble
out. I mean, because
Nakua Robinson is good.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys and Williams running out of the backfield. I mean, that offense is going to put up points. That's why it's the highest over under in the playoffs, 51.5 points. So I mean that's low.
Well, and on top of that, the
over.
biggest to me, Keith, the biggest problem of this game is the fact that I love Dan Campbell, but he is not in Sean McVay's class as far as a football coach.
Not yet.
Not an on-the-field football coach.
No, but he's working on it. I agree with that. Listen, do we know the status of Laporta?
Laporta says that they interviewed him after practice yesterday. He said he felt pretty good. But I'm not that worried about Laporta. Brock Wright is not going to be – he's going to be 100% back. And Goff, you're going to learn everything you need to know about Jared Goff. Absolutely everything you need to know about Jared Goff. Is this the guy that has changed his career around and is in the top 10 of NFL quarterbacks, or is this the guy that Sean McVay knew he couldn't win a championship with? It's that cut and dry as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's the former. I think he's one of the top guys in the league.
I do too.
I think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be one of those games. I think there might be 3 scores in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Can Penei Sewell follow Aaron Donald around? You know how.
Yeah.
Because that's your biggest concern, right?
Yep.
Aaron Donald moves, Penei Sewell goes across.
Aaron Donald can still be a game wrecker, and if he's in the passing game, it's a big problem. But when the Lions want to push people around, they can look a little bit like the University of Michigan. Mm-hmm. David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then who's got to have a big game is Jamison Williams.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there's one other factor that I was thinking about, Rich, that I'm very happy. C.J. Gardner-Johnson back in this defensive backfield.
Yes.
Got a pick. Yep. Was bitching to high heaven that I can't play every snap. Well, guess what? He's playing every snap on
because there are 9 receivers on that Rams team.
That's right. He said, "Guys, just get behind me. I'll follow. Follow me. Yeah. I'll show you the ropes, man." But with Nakua and Cooper Kupp and all of the receivers, Robinson,
awesome,
it's like, dude, our DBs are really going to have their hands full.
And we got to see that with Stafford all those years, right? He turns a slot receiver that is nobody into somebody real quick, So, yes, Nakua and Kupp are stars, but he turns other guys, and it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the day. It doesn't matter where they came from. He'll turn them into stars just like Brady did. But,
I have no idea if Nakua is a star.
No, he is a star,
is he a star because of Stafford? Well, maybe, because it's the only guy that's ever thrown to him, and I never heard of the guy before.
Right.
But Cooper Kupp was a star before Stafford got there.
If he was playing in Carolina, I don't know.
But
be a star this
the
year.
reason why the Rams have turned this season around is strictly because of Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
When they were one-dimensional, and plus Coop was out too, right?
Yes,
so what did they start out, 2-6? And everybody was writing it off. Okay, like we knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
The Stafford swan song. Yeah.
They're going to turn the page. Kyron Williams, and this is a McVay thing and a Kyle Shanahan thing. Everybody thinks of them as the passing game coordinators. They're run game coordinators. Oh, yeah. The running, they have such inventive blocking schemes. Right. And looks, just like you saw Michigan running all those formations all over the place, and then they run up the middle for 35 yards. So, like, what the hell are we doing here? Right?
You'll see one play, they'll run a zone blocking scheme. The next one, it's a man-on-man. Yep. So they'll switch within play to play what kind of blocking scheme they're doing.
Anzalone and Campbell have to have huge games for the Lions to win. I mean, there's just so much. There's so much at stake. And this is another kind of factor on why you're really worried about the Rams is that they're playing with house money. They're on the road. Nobody thought anything of the season. The Lions are going to be nervous. The Rams come out, get the opening kickoff, drive down the field and score a touchdown, and everybody is going to poop in their pants. So, everything stacks up against the Lions. That's why I like them to cover.
I think they will be good. And getting back to your point about McVay and Shanahan, I think that's why Harbaugh goes to the NFL. I think he misses that competition. I think that he's not. Yes, I realize we're getting all those Pac-10 teams into the Big Ten, but really every game this season was a blowout. Every single week in the NFL, you have to game plan. You have to be better than that other guy across from you, one of which is going to be your brother. And I think that he wants to play against guys like McVay.
Have you seen Michigan's schedule next year?
Yeah, I understand that.
I'm just saying.
I think
this is a whole different other animal.
Any given Sunday you can lose, and I think he wants that challenge.
Any given Sunday you can lose in the SEC, and every given Sunday you're going to be able to lose. Just like the Big Ten basketball season, you can lose. That's what this is going to look like.
I don't want to talk about the Big Ten.
I'm just saying, nice win by Michigan State yesterday. God, they shot the ball crappy in the in the second quarter. You want to call it? I mean, yeah. But anyways, no, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Harbaugh does. Okay. Like I said, so is he going? Is he not? I remember having this discussion with you, Keith, and you, Rich, and a whole bunch of other Michigan fans. No way is Harbaugh coming. And I said from the very beginning, he is coming. They can pay him whatever they want because there's only 100,000 people in the stadium, and he's going to fill every one of those seats. Not only did he do that, he did everything that Saban has done. The donations to that university up through the roof. Enrollment through the roof. Nobody wanted to go to the University of Alabama. It's a truck driving school, for Christ's sakes.
And they're the biggest part of their tuition is from out of state.
Yeah.
People are from all over the country want to go to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Out of state tuition is big time.
Yeah, I'm just saying, look at, I agree with you. There's a lot of reasons to go to the NFL. He will never have ownership of an NFL team, and sooner or later he's going to piss somebody off, and he's going to head out to look at how does Trent Baalke not get along with Jim Harbaugh with 3 trips to the NFC Championship, and Trent Baalke got fired from Carolina last year. Good job, Trent. Okay, so I'm just saying, but that's just the word on Harbaugh. I mean, I know people that know Ward Manuel, and they hate each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just because you can't figure Harbaugh out. He's not a normal human being. The only thing people, and that's why he works great in college, okay? Because the players are walking out the door every third year. If you're just give an example, Matthew Stafford, how long are you going to put up with Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah, that is
saying.
That's a good point.
Look at Brady was able to put up with Belichick and vice versa for a long time. That's because when you're winning Super Bowls, you're going to put up with a lot of crap. And
winning.
And finally, he could. I don't care. I don't want to win another Super Bowl here. I'll go. I don't care what it is. Right. I guarantee you the abrasion level for Jim Harbaugh is 3 times worse than it is working for Bill Belichick. And they're the same type of coach. Physical. You do it my way. This is the way to attention to detail. Keith talked about this ad nauseum. You have to have a really different mindset to play football for Jim Harbaugh because it's going to be physical. And look what the hell they did to Alabama. And what did you ever think that an Alabama football team would get pushed around like that? Anybody see that coming?
No.
I mean, I was worried as hell about that.
Because it's never been done.
Never been done.
Yeah.
Well, those last 3 games, Ohio State, Alabama, when they beat Alabama, I said, well, that's it for me. I don't care what they do against Washington. They beat Alabama, and decisively, I think decisively.
Pushed them around.
It came down to the last play. I watched the game. I said, okay, watch this. The quarterback's going to get the ball, and he's going to run it right up the gut. And
but he made a wrong read. He could have actually scored on that game.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. But what a play! Michigan gave us a really good season. Eh?
Yeah, no doubt about
absolutely.
it. And like I said, your turnover is a good thing if you're Jim Harbaugh. I'm just saying.
He does exhaust people. I agree. Even watching his press conferences, you're like, where is he at? What planet is he on?
But the university can afford to pay him whatever they want because he cashes it. It all comes out in the ledger.
He's got a little bit of Scotty Bowman in him. You ask him a question and he answers something out of left field. Like, what the hell is he talking about? No. Just talk to him. Talk to him. I'm out of here.
What did he say the other day about 4? He said
the
number 4, and then he went 4. 4's a good number. Yeah, I wore number 4. What are you talking? Where did you go?
No, what about a one piece? Life is this team is like a one-piece bathing suit. Like my mother's one-piece bathing suit. You don't want to see her in a bikini. Like, what?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe I don't even know if the abrasion level is. It's just, where are you, dude? I don't even know what's going on.
But it doesn't matter because he drew up the next play and it ran for 45 yards.
Exactly.
So and it's very interesting. I know we're off topic and we got to get going.
I bet you.
But people that I know inside the program. You know, Sharon Moore, I hear from everybody I've ever talked to, the players hate him.
Wow.
Hate him. The offensive line guys hate it. Like, they play in spite of him, which is, you heard that from Belichick too. You know, he knew how to push buttons and everything else. But, you know, so maybe he's a taskmaster and whatever. I mean, the players were hugging him after the Penn State game and everything else. But that's what I hear. Now, I don't know how accurate that is, or maybe these people don't like him because they don't respond to his inquiries or whatever. But I'm just saying, so, you know, if Sharon Moore has got to get the job,
he's got to be heir apparent.
I mean, there's no way that you've got to keep it in house after all the.
It's a pretty good audition.
Yeah.
I mean, you beat Ohio State, especially. That was the big game.
All right, when we return, we'll talk some Red Wings. We also got to take a look at the rest of the playoff picture and the games that are coming up. When we return here on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Face-Off, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport.
Sports on the Michigan News Network.
One final full practice for the Lions today, the day Dan Campbell said we'd likely know more about the status of Pro Bowler Sam Laporta for Sunday's playoff game. NBC Sports announcer Mike Tirico will be calling the action in prime time. He joined flagship station 97.1 The Ticket and explained how he defines this much-hyped 12-win Lions team.
The going for it, the Dan Gamble, the toughness. I think it's the fact that they've been able to take all the SOL stuff and push it in the back, and they have not been weighed down by it, and that's hard to do.
Also, Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford says despite opposing them this week, he is indeed happy for the fans in Detroit where he played as they get set to host a postseason matchup. We'll also get a rematch of the first-round Twins tonight in Detroit. The Pistons and Asar Thompson hosting the Rockets and his brother Amen. Houston won the first matchup, Detroit trying to end another long slide of 6 losses in a row. Tip-off just after 7 o'clock, and the Twins also have their own bobblehead giveaway for the occasion. Chris Villar, Michigan News Network.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
It's time to get away to your dream destination. Beat the winter and fly TVC to Sun and Sand. Looking for your spring break getaway? Book today. Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United are getting you where you want to go. Visit tvcairport.com for up-to-the-minute flight schedules.
Welcome back to Friday Face-Off on Up North Sports Radio. It's time to hang time with Lindsay Southwood, Director of Marketing at Shanty Creek. Lindsay, just in time for Martin Luther King weekend snow.
Yeah, apparently your snow dances have been paying off because it's coming. You know, we've already gotten about 6 inches so far this week, yep. And, you know, I've seen varying weather reports for this weekend. It's going to be big snow no matter what.
Right. But, I mean, with the lower temperatures, with the guns running, and 6 inches, is all the terrain open now?
It's not yet, but we're getting there. How about that?
All right.
So this weekend we'll have the purple and the yellow and the magic carpet lifts going. We're hoping to open pink on Martin Luther King Day. And then, you know, with the snowmaking, these super, super cold temps that are moving in next week, we're going to be getting pretty close to getting all the terrain open in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, plus the Monster Energy terrain parks for all the hot dogs.
Yes, it's a little rich for my blood, but yeah, we opened up the Monster Terrain Park this week. We've got some great new features out there, and we've even added a few surprises in the Natty Glades, which is right next to it, so some more natural terrain park features.
Cool. And you've got a demo happening tomorrow.
Yeah, so Shaggy's Copper Country Skis, they are a Northern Michigan ski manufacturer located in Boyne City, and they'll be near the Day Lodge, near the Yellow Chairlift, for those who aren't familiar, demoing their skis for free. They're fantastic skis. You should come and check them out because it's free, and who knows, you might pick up a pair.
Well, on top of that, you don't often get the opportunity to demo skis, right there at Shanty Creek, so you'll know if they're good for you or not.
Absolutely. And, they're going to be great because they're for the North Country, they're for powder, and we're going to have plenty. So they couldn't have picked a better day to be coming on over.
And then Prime Rib Dinner Buffet open tomorrow night.
Yes, so our Prime Rib Buffet, and then follow that up, you're going to need to burn off all that Prime Rib. We have some great entertainment lined up at Ivan's tomorrow night, starting at 9. It's a band called Stiletto Fire. They're out of Metro Detroit, and they're fantastic. They are a great party band.
Well, Lindsay, I know it's been a difficult start to the season, but everything heading in the right direction at Shanty Creek. Go to shantycreek.com for all information and your lift tickets. It's going to be great, a great Martin Luther King weekend.
Yes, come on out and enjoy the snow.
All right, thanks, Lindsay.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye. All right, there you go, gang. Finally, we get serious snow at Shanty Creek, and a lot of resorts have been struggling a little bit. Hanson Hills, so couldn't have come at a better time with the long ski weekend.
Much needed for sure.
Keith, talk to us a little bit about the inconsistency with the Red Wings.
I wish I could help you there.
Solve it, Keith.
It all comes down to goaltending. That's been the most inconsistent part of their game. They started out with 3 goaltenders. If you have 3, you have none. Billy Husso struggled, then he got hurt. Alex Lyon was really good when he came in, got hurt, struggled. Now he's played 4 games in a row.
Yep.
They have a 4-game point streak now. They lost in overtime last night to Edmonton. But goaltending is the issue, is one issue. And I think, they're knocking on the door. They're making life interesting, for fans. They're pretty much where they were last year. They're 1 point away from the second wild card spot.
Well, they wouldn't be if they hadn't lost 12 games or 8.
1-8-1 after Patrick Kane. They traded for Patrick.
And he was scoring almost every day.
But he wasn't their greatest need. I was against that trade. It's fun to.
It's not a trade. I mean, that's why
they signed him. I was against that.
But for what? Only $2 million. I mean, why would you?
Well, because there's so many questions about his hip. Players who have had this surgery before have not.
No, he's the first one that is.
It's holding up pretty well. I'm rather surprised he hasn't taken a game off yet. He's done pretty well. But defense is better, but still problematic. And here's
not consistent. Not consistent. I mean, and the thing is, and you can address this. So I just want to point it out, the bad turnovers. I mean, they make turnovers like it looks like it's slap shot. When they make a mistake, it's frickin' ugly.
Yeah.
Especially during that bad streak.
They're one of the higher scoring teams in the league, but they give up. They're like the 4th from the bottom in terms of the goals they give up, and the giveaways are.
The amount of shots. How many shots they give up last night? 48, 58.
No. It was in high 30s.
Yeah, it was 35 when I started listening in about 8 minutes.
Here's what bothers me most about this team is it's not a playoff team. Whether they make the play, they're a one and done team if they make the playoffs. This team is not built for the playoffs. They get pushed around way too much. And their best players are small guys. Dylan Larkin is not a small guy, but not that big.
Right.
He's fragile. He takes a beating way more than he should. But
small.
DeBrincat, Kane, Lucas Raymond.
47-18 were shots on goal.
47? I stand corrected.
I'm just saying. I thought I read that last.
CBS.
Alex Lyon was very.
No, that was
good
Detroit News.
Was very good, but
so he won't believe it.
They get pushed around way too much. I don't know if Yzerman's going to be a buyer or a seller at the trade deadline. If he's a buyer,
is Brendan Shanahan available at age 28?
Or Martin LaPointe or something like that. Sure. They need somebody. who will keep the other team honest and keep the flies off. They don't have anybody who does
But
that.
I mean, there's kind of a lack of the traditional power forward in the NHL now.
Well, there's a lack of that in Detroit for sure.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying
there are some good ones out there, but those people are really hard to come.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like there might be, by my count, 14 guys that really play that physical style, like how Ovechkin used to play. And
it's almost like they're going out of style.
Well, I was just going to say, is that because of how the
speed, speed,
the style of the game has changed in the last 10 years.
But you're absolutely right. This was something that the Detroit Red Wings were built upon. When Scotty first had the Russian 5 and we got pushed around, he goes, this has got to stop.
And he put Lurianov out there with Martin Lapointe on one side, Brendan Shanahan on the other, and he gave Igor Lurianov a lot of room.
He can do whatever he wanted.
But I mean, that's why they made the Shanahan trade.
Oh, no.
I mean, that was the linchpin of turning that whole.
He was the final piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And actually, toward the trade deadline, when they traded for Larry Murphy, another great piece of the puzzle.
Great defenseman.
We talk about the Russians, putting those guys together. They weren't really the last piece, though.
No,
they were
really the first piece. Yeah,
That's
I mean, after Stevie.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, finesse.
Listen, we're going to know a lot more about the Red Wings in the next 8 games. They're going to go through hell in that next 8 games. Listen up. They got the LA Kings tomorrow, and then Maple Leafs at Maple Leafs, Florida Panthers tied for the first in the Eastern Conference right now. Carolina
They're
Hurricanes,
playing unbelievable hockey right now.
Carolina
Florida
Hurricanes at Carolina, at Tampa Bay Lightning. I know they've come back a little bit. Still a very formidable team. Dallas Stars, one of the best teams out west. Philadelphia Flyers playing way better than people expected, and a team not shy about pushing you around. The Las Vegas Golden Knights, another big, huge team that'll knock them around a little bit.
Well, that's true. The Knights have a lot of size.
The next 8 games are going to determine what happens to the Red Wings this season.
And if they're buyers or sellers, or you think those 8 games will make
March 8th is the trade deadline. I think they have to buy. They have to buy one of those big defensemen, or you're not going to get a power forward. They need somebody to keep the other team honest. Like I said, keep the flies off, and or otherwise they're not going to make the playoffs. And if they do, they're going to get knocked out.
One and done. Yeah. Oh. Thanks for the good news, Keith. Thank you.
At the same time,
we should have had Paul Woods, and he would have sugarcoated it for us.
They're fun to watch. They score.
They're a lot of fun. A lot of fun to listen.
I frustrated a little bit about the Patrick Kane addition because that has kind of stalled the development of Lucas Raymond a little bit, which is what I was worried about. When Raymond was playing with Dylan Larkin, he was one of.
Yeah, but they've broken that lineup now. It's DeBrick and Kane, and they've got Larkin on the other line, which I thought was a smart move. And it's actually turned this, the losing streak around.
Yes, they have. And I'm really. I know Kopp got a goal last night for the first time in forever. That's been not a very good signing. All that money for Andrew Kopp, and he's not played very well. JT Comfer, another center.
He played great for a while, but he's
that's
been
inconsistency, like you said. I mean, that's a guy who, in spurts, man, has looked awesome.
Well, now they got him down on the third line since Kane came in, and
Joe Veleno.
Veleno's been awesome. He's been great. That's the name I was going to bring up.
And also, Michael Rasmussen, a big guy, doesn't play real big. He's not going to keep the other team honest, but he does so many of the really important little things defensively, penalty killing, and so on. Those are
the pieces are in place. If you could get a Shanahan or somebody like that, it might be sometimes in hockey it's weird. You get the one guy, right? It's got to be the right guy, obviously, but you get the one guy, and everything kind of just falls into place.
The one thing they're not going to get, everybody wants them to get a goaltender. Number one guy, they're not out there available. Everybody's looking for a goaltender.
Yeah.
So many people. They're going to have to do it with Lyon and Billy Husso. They got the kid Sebastian Cossa down in the minors, developing a little bit. A couple of years ago when they moved up to draft Sebastian Cossa, remember? There was another goaltender, Wallstedt. Wallstedt was the name of a Swedish guy. There were like 1 and 1A, and Eiserman actually traded up to get Cossa over Wallstedt. Wallstedt played his first game in the NHL the other night, so he's a little bit ahead of Cossa in development, right? Wallstead gave up 7 goals in his first game. It's a tough position, man.
It is.
Tough position.
Well, especially with the speed and all the defensive laps.
Yep.
This is not like your father's Red Wings team where they give up 11 shots. You know,
right.
I mean that was the hallmark.
47.
Well, it's and that goes to puck possession, right?
No question.
You know, and nobody possesses the puck like the Wings used to possess.
Right.
You know,
And nobody gives it up quite as much as the Wings do.
like my old girlfriend's back in college. We'll be back after these words from my fine partners on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Face-Off. We'll take a look at playoff football.
Listen, do you hear that? That's the sound of wide open spaces at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air. The sound of laughter coming from the Alpine Tubing Park. The sound of splashing in the pool. The sound of shushing down Shush Mountain. Here we go outside to play. When it's time for you to enjoy the wide open spaces of northern Michigan, Shanty Creek will be there to welcome you with over 275 lodging options, 42 downhill ski and snowboard runs, and plenty of outdoor fun in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
The Traverse City Record Eagle supports WCMU Public Radio in Traverse City with Total Access Record Eagle subscriptions. Total Access means home delivery of the printed paper, plus on-demand access to local and breaking news and other community publications online or on the app. Find out more at record-eagle.com/subscriptions or call 231-946-2187. That's 231-946-2187. The Traverse City Record Eagle proudly serves 13 counties in northwestern Lower Michigan.
Feeney is home for Ford factory certified pre-owned cars and trucks, each one passing a 172-point inspection and holding their remaining factory warranty. 12-month, 12,000-mile bumper-to-bumper and 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Feeney even gives them a fresh oil change and new wiper blades. Each one is so clean they're practically new. Visit Feeney today in Grayling or 24/7 at FeeneyFord.com.
We played for the thrill, that rush you feel with the game on the line. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver. Now, with Eagle Casino and Sports, the new sportsbook app from Soaring Eagle, anywhere I'm at, I'm still in the game.
Sign up now and get up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 for a risk-free bet on your next favorite underdog, parlay, or prop.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
Thank you. Welcome back to Drama Circle here at Up North Sports Radio's Friday Face-Off. Jerry Coyne live in studio with Rich Calkins, Chad Patterson, and the amazing Keith Cave. Keith, any new books in the works?
Thanks for asking, Jerry. As a matter of fact, I am working on another one.
Okay.
I got to do something since I can't come.
You haven't interviewed me yet about my life story, so I don't know.
It's a Wings-related book from the great era of the 90s and 2000s. I can't say too much about it right now because I don't want somebody out there stealing my ideas. Because I'm just getting kind of started, really. But there'll be a 4th book out probably this fall.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right, guys. We've got a big weekend of the biggest weekend of professional football, right? Starting off on Saturday at 4:30 with the Browns on the road at the Houston Texans. Hard to make, a lot of these games are real toss-ups. When I first thought about this, I like the Browns are going to ride herd on Houston. They played them before and they killed them.
Yeah.
But Stroud didn't play in the game, and neither did Flacco. But look at the Texans are a drop pass away from losing, not even being in the playoffs. The Colts should have won that football game. And, C.J. Stroud looks good. I don't know how good he's going to look with Myles Garrett draped all over him.
No doubt. I mean, that Cleveland Browns defense is a real deal, man. I don't know if Denzel Ward, one of their DBs, is going to play for Cleveland, but still, that defense is overwhelming.
It sounded good about the news I heard about Ward yesterday. It sounded like he's not going to be 100%, but I think he's still going to play.
I like the Browns given the points. I really do. I think
me too.
I think they'll win maybe by a touchdown.
Flacco for Flacco.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
The one thing that's just like sitting in the back of my mind, what's the best game that C.J. Stroud ever played? The one playoff game that he had against Georgia.
Yeah.
And if Marvin Harrison doesn't get injured in that game, they probably run Georgia out of the building. So, anyways, that's the one thought. It should be pretty good. And then the Frozen Bowl Part 2. It won't even be frozen tundra. The Dolphins traveling to Kansas City to play the Chiefs
on Peacock.
The Frozen Peacock.
The Frozen Peacock.
On the streaming service.
Keith, you've slipped and fallen on the ice, not wearing any kind of hockey gear or whatever, and it hurts like hell. Do you have any idea what it's going to feel like to get tackled in this football game? I remember this is going to be colder. The coldest game that I ever remember was not the Ice Bowl. Okay, it was the Cincinnati Bengals San Diego Chargers playoff game where Cincinnati, luckily for Cincinnati, the game was played in Cincinnati because it was run in San Diego. That was run and gun, Dan Fouts, the most historic, prolific offense in the history of football. And they played in 17 degree below zero. Fouts has always talked about he has frostbite in his 3 fingers. I mean, I met and talked to Fouts about it. He goes, my hands never recovered from that game. And like it was like getting tackled on absolute concrete. This is going to be an interesting football game. If the weather was better, like Tyreek Hill back against Kansas City and everything else.
That'd be a story.
But I like Miami here because I think Miami runs the football better than the Chiefs. Right. I mean, with Achane and Mostert. And
Waddle's back.
I don't know how many passes. I don't know how many passes. You're not going to see any passes over 20 yards.
No.
Right.
So this is going to be quick patterns with Tyreek Hill and everything else. Kansas City's sucked all year long. They've only covered one spread. They covered one spread. Do you know who it was?
I don't.
The Miami game that they played over in Europe.
London. Yeah.
That's what I love. The NFL cooks up these storylines, and they're all just fascinating as hell.
And it's
because the whole league is choreographed.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's the wind that's part of the issue too in Kansas City.
It's not. The wind is not going to be nearly as bad as the Buffalo game.
Yeah, that's okay.
I mean, they're talking about
Well, we were just me and Rich were talking. I mean, this is highly possible that the Chiefs lose and the Eagles lose. The two teams that were in the the Super Bowl last year.
But the next game up on the slate is the game in Buffalo. Now, this game, the NFL is thinking about moving it to Cleveland, because the wind, if the winds are sustained winds over 50 miles an hour, they don't think they can play the football game. Wow. So. Well, they did it. Buffalo. They had to move the Buffalo game to Detroit a few years ago.
Remember that?
Okay,
yeah.
There was more Lions fans in the building than the Bills fans.
So there has been a playoff game at Fort
There has. You're right.
Yeah, there's been a Super Bowl too, Keith.
Yeah.
The Rolling Stones were there.
Very cool.
But the Steelers are getting 10 here.
I'll take that. I'd take the Steelers.
Well, the Steelers can run the football.
Yeah.
I mean, they've really run it great
Najee
the last year. Well,
amazing.
Najee and the other
Warren,
kid,
yeah.
Warren,
Yeah,
they've been fantastic.
amazing.
And, if they don't move it and it stays in Buffalo, I don't know how many passes are going to get thrown. And as a defense, even without T.J. Watt, you're going to be spying Allen a hell of a lot more than you would if the passing game was intact. 10 points, Mike Tomlin, an impossible team, I'll take 10 points. I'll take 10 points.
Cook's got to have a big game for Buffalo.
I mean, if the weather is as bad as they say it's going to be and they don't move the game, they might not score 10 points overall. Yeah. So, try kicking a field goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like kicking a cinder block.
Oh, yeah. But with the wind and everything else, I mean, people are going to be – Dan Campbell is going to be watching that game. Yeah, they're going for it. It's 4th and 11. They're going for it.
Dan Gamble.
And then your favorite game, Chad, Packers getting a touchdown visiting Dallas. Green Bay and Dallas, imagine that playing each other in the playoffs.
I do not want to root for Green Bay. But
that sets them on a trajectory.
I know. If they beat Dallas,
I mean, I hate Dallas, and
I hate Dallas too. That's what I'm saying. I'm rooting for Green Bay, and I can't even believe it. And I'm rooting against Mike McCarthy. I want more drama. I'm a drama guy, and I'm like, that will cause all
Keith,
kinds of drama.
You wrote for the Dallas newspaper. Like, what's it like to be a Cowboy fan during the playoffs?
Or hate the Cowboys and have to write.
Well, it was fun sitting in the press box and kind of rooting against them. It was fun covering Dallas losses, that's for sure. But you know what? That's football.
It's country. A really good football
it's a really
team.
Smart fan base too.
Really
absolutely.
Oh.
Women down there sit around in circles talking football, and it sounds.
And they
like
know what the hell they're talking about.
They know what they're talking about. You know, two biggest sports in Texas, right? Football and spring football. But
no, and high school football.
Listen, that game where the Lions got screwed. I know you guys talk about it ad nauseum. One of the most sickening things I've ever seen in this league. I mean, if you don't believe this league is choreographed, keep watching that play, that decision over and over and over. Oh no, well, you know what? There was a penalty there. Sorry.
Yeah, that was insane. Yeah.
With all the evidence that they had, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and it's been a house of horrors. Look at my first true memory of Detroit Lions football was the 1970 season. First memory was. What's his name?
Tom Dempsey.
Tom Dempsey kicking the 52-yard field with Alex Karras standing up laughing. He and John Gordy were like had their arms around each other. Like, look at this idiot, you know. And he limps on there and kicks the 52. And then they made the playoffs that year, and they played the Dallas Cowboys, and it was 5-0, and there was 3.5 minutes left to go, and Greg Landry heaves the ball downfield, and Earl McCullough, the fastest man in the NFL, is wide open, hits him right in the breadbasket, drops the football. That is my first memory, and I was unconsolable. And my dad's like going, get used to it, kid. This is 1970. Get used to it, kid.
This is what it's all about.
So that's never happened before. And then the phantom pass interference, or they don't call pass interference on Calvin Johnson when he gets tackled. But luckily the football gods turned around and screwed the Cowboys the next week in Green Bay with the same non-call.
Oh, yes, they did,
Choreographed.
Yeah. Choreographed. That's right. So then we come to the do you like the Pack getting a touchdown?
I do. I really think the Packers are going to
I like the over. If you had to bet that game, I like the over.
Oh, absolutely.
50.5.
Yeah.
That's a shootout. And regardless of
Green Bay's defense,
regardless of whether the Packers get down, I think this is with Love being able to evade the rush and everything else. I think it doesn't matter. You know, the Cowboys want to get you down and then release the hogs.
Release the dogs.
Yeah, and really, like Dallas's offenses went down later in the season.
Well, that's because they screwed up.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
If they had signed Derrick Henry. I mean, you'd be ticketed to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
They don't play from behind very well either.
No, they don't.
No,
That's a very good point. Although, what's his name? I mean, that's the best connection in football now.
Oh, yeah.
It is
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
Dak Prescott,
I mean,
Lamb.
look at that. I mean,
I don't know. That was on display against the Lions, I think. It was.
I mean, there's some wide receivers that are always open.
Always.
And I don't know why McCarthy didn't go for it on
7-11, baby.
That's right. And then you've got the Lions. You know, on paper, this looks like it is a bad matchup for the Lions. There's a lot of things that can go wrong here. Can a veteran team like the Rams be derailed by a really noisy stadium?
Right.
Because it's gonna be loud.
Way loud.
You know, and we have noticed now this is
of-
Matthew Stafford and a team that essentially went to the Super Bowl, right? But we have seen a ton of false starts at Ford Field, and it has come to help the Lions. So that's just another factor.
But if there's a quarterback out there who can handle that, it's
Stafford.
Yeah, except for he's never heard it that loud in Ford Field.
I never felt hate there, so we'll.
And and everybody's talking about McVay knows Goff. Okay, well, does Aaron Glenn know Stafford? I mean, like we said, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to be huge in this game. Pressure on Stafford is going to be huge in this game. Aleen McNeil got to step it up. Okora has really been stepping up the pressure on the other side. The D pressure starting in the Dallas game has looked a lot better.
They're getting home. That's what
is doing.
Yeah, well, Hutchinson is a given, right?
Yeah, he's getting home now. Now, it's really.
I mean, the Rams have not given up a lot of sacks, but I mean, there's going to be a lot of blood in the water in this football game.
Well, there's a reason why it's at 8:15. It's prime time. Because this is the most compelling game of the wild card.
That's a great story.
By far and away. Yeah, NBC gets their choice, and that was a no-brainer. I mean, what Tirico said that. He goes, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
I get to stay home an extra week too. And then the Eagles and the which is by far and away the crappiest game on the schedule. I mean,
the Philadelphia fans don't even want to watch it.
I would. No, I don't blame them. I would love Tampa Bay here, but it's obvious that Baker Mayfield is hurt.
Yes.
I mean, he threw the ball 9 times in that game, and I heard that at practice he's only thrown the ball a couple times. Jalen Hurts got a broken finger on his throwing hand. Yeah. It looks like the Eagles have tanked this season. I love the under.
Yeah,
43 and a half.
The under, absolutely.
Yeah,
this is the one
would be
game
lucky to be 20-17 if you ask me. So, I don't even know who's going to win this game. I mean, if Tampa Bay's defense shows up like they can, this is going to be a soccer game.
Yeah, and outside of Hurts, they really have that power running game that can control the possession. So and that's kind of what they need in this game to win it. How's A.J. Brown? Is he
discontent?
Yeah, well, he was.
I
mean, I was talking physically. I didn't know you were his therapist.
There you go. There you go. Discontent. Has he been talking to Cheryl?
Right,
I mean, what the?
Well, tell me if you heard this story before. A wide receiver who's not happy. Who would have thought it?
I'm shocked.
What?
Does he play for Pittsburgh? No, he plays for Philadelphia.
No, they got 2 of them there.
Yes.
Oh man, no, it's certainly crazy. But go Lions.
Go Lions, absolutely. Make it count. You got there, make it count.
No doubt.
Because everybody in the
of course, you can listen to that game on Up North Sports, on Q100 Michigan. James, are you there? Oh. It would help if I press dial. It's time for the Fick & Sons High School Sports Cape Show. Fick & Sons proudly supports all Northern Michigan student-athletes. For all your propane needs, contact Fick & Sons, local, competitive, reliable. FickandSons.com. James Cook from the Traverse City Record Eagle joining us on the phone. James, I don't know if we had TC West play yesterday, so they won't get canceled. The Grayling game has already been canceled. I don't know if these cancellations are starting to pour into your office yet or not.
Yeah, we're starting to get a few. Johannesburg Lewiston has canceled their game with Gaylord St. Mary. Manton has canceled its game tonight. Glen Lake and Onekama have canceled their game. I shouldn't say canceled, postponed.
Right. Yeah. Postponed. Right.
So
try to find another place.
Conference games, so they'll be made up. Yeah. So. But a lot of games are coming in that'll and I'm expecting quite a few more. So. It'll be interesting to see if much gets played tonight at all.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the one thing would probably be the hockey tournament. That's over at Center Ice. There's I think 8 teams or something in town for that.
Are they already in town? Are most of those teams? I know there's some of them are downstate teams, right?
Yeah, you've got Marquette, Livonia Stevenson,
yeah,
Forest Hills Central. And all those games are kind of spread out throughout the day, today and tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see if those teams already have hotels, if they decide to make the trip or not, or if maybe they came up early.
I mean, luckily for your readership, Central and West played yesterday, so we know Rich was on the call for the West game and squeaked out a win over Petoskey.
Yeah, 49-47, so... a game in which Petoskey came out and scored the first 10 points. They were red hot from the outside. And then West just kind of slowly chipped away, got it to within 3 at the end of 1, and then had a 6-point lead at halftime.
James, were you at that game, or did you go to the Central game?
I was not. I was at the last night. I was just working on some other stuff.
Oh, okay.
and writing that Lions column that was in today's paper.
We haven't had a chance to see that yet, sir.
About a week or so down the road, and all that kind of stuff. So tonight I was supposed to go to Glen Lake for the Glen Lake Bristol game, where the Bradford brothers would be facing off against each other as head coaches for the first time. But that's one of the games that's already been canceled.
Okay. What ended up in the Central Alpena game?
Central blew them out.
Oh, okay.
Blew them out. My internet is down right now, so but I'm going off memory.
Central scored like 90-some points in that game.
90-some to 40.
What did Rival go for 45?
Might have. I don't know the details of it.
I think he only had 20. He had 25. Wow. One Rival went off for 20.
Okay.
Oh, okay. There you go. I know he stepped up into the breach a little bit, so that could be interesting to watch. Although Owen didn't play very well against West.
Right.
Yeah. In a huge game there, James, I gotta give you credit. The photography that you guys posted from the Central West game last week was incredible. The one picture of Rival getting blocked, that was just a wonderful photo.
Yeah, Jan Michael Stump does a really good job with a lot of our photography. Brendan and I try to fill in where we have to. And take photos and stuff, but Jan does a really good job with it.
Just great photos of the girls and the boys. It was worth the price of admission. The paper last Saturday.
Yeah, and the excitement of the team off the bench too. It just really captured the
it really
mood.
did. Great job.
Yeah, that was a really impressive performance by West. I think they had with Rival back and doing the things that Rival does, especially late in that game.
Right.
Hitting a couple of big threes to kind of put Central right back into it. And then West pulled them off. I mean, their performance at the free throw line was unbelievable.
10 for 10 fourth quarter. Unbelievable,
10 for 10 in the last minute and a half.
Yep.
8 for 8 for, a guy who had only scored 3 points before that.
Caden Stoops.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they knew who to hack, and they thought they knew who to hack.
They did, yeah.
Yep.
Who's this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Money is his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that Alpena game last night was 94-50.
Well, it sounds like, hey, they almost got to 124 to 60.
Yeah.
Never mind. Long story.
Central had 5 players in double figures and another with 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then Ethan Rademacher came up from JV and had 5 assists as well. He may be the guy who kind of steps into Jack Hogan's place.
Oh, okay. Yep.
A couple other games, James. Maybe you can help us out with St. Francis played at Boyne City.
Let me look that one up.
Yeah.
Okay, because
I was in the office last night, so
I'm sorry, our internet is down.
Yeah.
Well, that was supposed to be tonight.
Oh, it is.
Oh, really? Okay, it's listed on my schedule for last night. So, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it got moved, but it's on the MHSA page now as being tonight at 7. So, also maybe unlikely to get played.
Good. Yeah. East Jordan was supposed to play at Harbor Springs last night. I don't know if that game. I know that Elk beat Grayling.
Yep, we do know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and boys and girls.
Yeah.
The girls had a really good game there too. Kendall Stanfest went off. I can't remember what the stats were, but it was really good. Let me find out here. 22 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks.
And sold
That's a pretty good game.
110 boxes of popcorn.
Yeah.
Just want to take a second and give a shout out to Fick & Sons, who is your local competitive and reliable propane provider. But there's so much more than just propane, and you better get your propane. Better call them.
You better. That's right.
They provide home heating fuel for residential and commercial customers. Charlie's Country Corner right off 4 Mile Road on I-75 outside of Grayling that has an Arby's, a convenience store, the Super 8 by Wyndham, and a full-service diesel garage. In Roscommon, they have the Sunny Spot Fuel and Convenience Store. Kalkaska, stop into Bear Lakes Marathon. They have amazing pizza there. And a full-service liquor department. In Whittemore is the Crossroads Citgo offering gas to include diesel and racing fuel snacks, drinks, and an excellent deli. They offer propane cylinder refills and exchanges. Fick & Sons, expanding their services throughout northern Michigan. Check out everything they have to offer by going to fickandsons.com. Yeah, it's hard to predict. Go ahead, James.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the MHSA is listing that Grayling East Jordan game from earlier in the week as one that was postponed.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, no, you're right. These games, absolutely. We already got that.
Because
I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Chad got that text in the middle of our sports show here. So, yeah. As we started off this conversation, I would imagine there's not going to be too many games. The only problem with this, James, and we talked about this on our on the Hoops and Scoops program that we have before the games are played, and it ran before the TC West game. The schedule's all screwed up anyways. I mean, teams are playing every day of the week now. You know, for decades, you played Tuesdays and Fridays, and that was it. And now, with all these cancellations, a lot of games got canceled on Tuesday, and now the rash of cancellations are going to happen now is really going to send the schedule into a tizzy.
Yeah, and it can be interesting. I mean, and part of that with the rationale, I think, for playing games on all the days of the week is, one, there's a few more games now in the season, and also there's fewer referees. So it got to the point where it wasn't sustainable to have everybody playing on Friday night and everybody playing on Tuesday, because the referees there just weren't enough referees to do it. So they just started spreading out to different days of the week.
Well, the unintended consequences of when the MHSAA put girls basketball in at the same time as boys basketball. Right. I don't know if you can't revert back to the old ways now. They're going to have to figure out how to,
My daughter was playing right when that took place. That was her freshman year, and she was a downhill skier. And so you had a conflict. She was a basketball player and a skier. So, yeah, that affected us personally, for sure.
But, I mean, even then they thought that, gym time and refereeing would be a factor, and with the with less and less referees around, it's just going to get harder and harder.
It was all over the volleyball lawsuit from the greater Grand Rapids.
11 parents.
Yeah.
11 parents that got the MHSAA to cave in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, I would think if you're doing your sport in the off season of what other sports are going on, it gives a better chance to isolate. And we've been down through that.
Yeah, that ship sailed a long time ago. Anything else on your horizon, James?
Well, we're just looking to see how many of these games get canceled and how many get played tonight. So I'm hoping something gets played so that I can go out and cover some hockey tonight. But at least maybe hockey. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm going to see if that's going on.
Well, maybe you could take the dog sled, James.
Yeah.
Well, at least they're all at center ice.
Yeah,
so, if the teams have already come into town, I mean, Livonia Stevenson, if they are driving today, although it hasn't started yet, but the middle of the state is supposed to be the worst part of this storm.
Yeah, the middle of the state and lower parts of the state is supposed to get it much worse than us, I guess. And we're supposed to get, 8 or 9 inches, I guess. So.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Like I said, they canceled a lot of games on Tuesday, and it was really a nothing burger. I know a couple places got 6 to 8 inches, but those games could have
but
could have been played.
overall, big picture, it wasn't bad.
I understand they err on the count of safety, and I don't know what our scoreboard show will look like tomorrow. So, anyways, James Cook, thanks for joining us from the Traverse City Record Eagle.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you guys can have a really short show. It takes a while off.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
We do have sponsors. So.
Yeah, thanks, James.
All right. Appreciate it, James.
All right, thank you.
All right. This has been the Fick & Sons High School Sportscape Show on Up North Sports Radio. Remember, for all your propane needs, contact Fick & Sons, local, competitive, reliable. Check them out at fickandsons.com. And, Rich, you and I will be here tomorrow.
We will.
As James said, it might be a shorter show. We'll see if we can get some coaches on the line, regardless of whether they played or not.
Right.
And check in on how their seasons are going.
Yeah, sounds good. Yep.
Get that voice repaired.
I will. I'm trying.
All right. Don't forget who is on tonight on Up North Sports Radio. I'll give you a quick look. We had the Wings on last night. I believe the Pistons.
They should be, they played, 2 nights ago? So they should be coming up here real soon.
The Pistons are at home tonight against the Rockets. That game is at 7:40, so the pregame will start at 7. So if you want to track the perilous journey through the NBA season on the radio with the Detroit Pistons, you can listen to it right here on Up North Sports Radio. Back to CBS Radio.
They cause sleepless nights for millions of Americans. Don't be one of them. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, get protected today. Call 800-312-9970. Coast One Tax Group, protecting your bank, home, and your sleep since 2008. With hundreds of 5-star reviews and an A+ on the Better Business Bureau. Call Coast One Tax Group, 800-312-9970. Stanley from New York owed $93,000. The IRS placed a levy on his bank account. Coast One released the levy and settled with the IRS for $2,000. Mark in Michigan owed $225,000. After Coast One stepped in, Mark walked away paying less than $1,500. Call Coast One now. A 10-minute call can save you up to 93% on your back taxes. Get your fresh start today. That's 800-312-9970.